Good evening to you, my friends. It is a pleasure to come and to talk with you and to bring to you some words that are going to assist you in your day-to-day living and your day-to-day understanding of life. Because you know your world seems to be engulfed in darkness, for there is much turmoil and difficulty within many nations, and indeed sometimes, you know, you seem to be within yourselves in a little bit of turmoil of, shall we say, indecision about life, and indeed about your own spirituality and your own gifts of the Spirit. And so it is very important, you see, that we come to bring to you words that you may listen to, but words also that may encourage and give you, what shall we say, food for thought may be a good way of describing it, because you know you have to feed your physical bodies, do you not? You all have your favourite meals, your favourite food, indeed your favourite drink, which I'm sure is not water out of the tap, because there are other things more exciting, yes? And so it is that there are things too that are exciting within our realm of life, one of which is the ability to be able to communicate to you on the earth plane. Now all of you have communication with the spirit world that will feed your soul, whether you like it or not. You are all capable of receiving what we send to you. That opening music talked to you about angels being at your side. And indeed, that is true also about you tell to yourselves when you are being inspired by the spirit world, that you have what you term an active imagination. Yes? You are all guilty of that. You say, oh, it was my own mind telling me this and telling me that. And yes, indeed, you do have to keep control of your own mind, but you do that in your day-to-day living anyway, because you are always making decisions. You are deciding what you are going to do, whether you are going to do this, that, or something else. It does not matter, but you are deciding, you see, because you are in control of you, and that is good. We in the spirit world may have a little control over our medium here this evening to bring these words to you, but she has a mind that we have to work with, you know. And so we have this understanding that she moves out to one side, and then we have a little bit of control to bring to you what you need to understand about spiritualism, about the Spirit, about God, the Creator, about all things that sometimes seem to be a little mysterious to the world, because they are all seeking power, you know, and so one will fight another for power over maybe land, maybe over the interpretation of various religious beliefs. And so we want you to be brave in your own understanding, because as was said in the reading, when you face what you term death, it is but rebirth of the soul. And that is you, the person that you truly are. You know, you can disguise yourself by the clothes that you wear. You can change, and then people may not recognize you if you change to a different set of clothing that is different to what you would normally wear. Some people like to wear colorful things, and other people like to keep it plain and simple, because you all have your own individual tastes, because you are individual people. So you all have your own individual ways of linking with the spirit world. But the spirit world will never leave you on your own as you see it. You will always be given guidance and help through your own being. You all seek help from other people because you have to cooperate one with the other. You have to be of service when you look at the spirit within you and understand that life will continue, be what may. And for those that do not understand or want to give time to understanding that the spirit will move on into a new life, then that is for them. We do not have to go out and preach the principles of spiritualism, but we would ask that you live by the principles of spiritualism, because you can interpret them as you may find is best for you. You only have 7, and you know there are always rules and regulations within your world, and they just pile on one after the other to make life difficult, whether it be that you have to stick to a speed limit on your roads, and it varies depending upon which road you are travelling. So it can be confusing, but to have a good journey, then you have to take notice of the speed limit, of the signs. And so it is within your own spiritual unfoldment. You are on a journey. You have to go by the speed limits. And you know there are too many that start their unfoldment and then want to speed it along as quick as they can, you know, because they feel this power and this energy of the spirit within. But we like to set you speed limits so that you can take it at your own pace. That will mean that you understand all about your own self, the person that you are. Because it does not matter what religious belief you would like to call yourself, or what you follow in the way of understanding, because it is only words. You are all equal, you see, because you are all spirit here and now. It won't be that you become a spiritual being when the body fails you and you have reached that point that you call death. And so it is that we want to encourage you to work with your gifts of healing, with your gifts of clear seeing. It is important, you know, because you also sense. You can all perhaps go house hunting one day and step over a doorstep and know that you could not live in that particular building. Because you sense, you use your senses. Your animal kingdom use their senses to a greater extent than perhaps you do. But it is all of the same essence, you see, because you are all part of life. It is important, therefore, that you take responsibility for yourself. One of the principles entitled personal responsibility. You know that the principles were given by a gentleman called Robert Owen through the mediumship of Emma Harding Britton. And Robert Owen was also a founder member of the Cooperative Society. Only days ago there was a meeting for them to change some of the fundamentals of that society, because it is now not as, what shall you say, upbeat as it once was, and it is a little bit in the doldrums with regard to finance and business in your everyday world. And even that has had to change, you see. So we're not saying to change your principles, but we are saying that you need to live by those very same principles, to understand and get a grip on what spiritualism is truly about. Too many people diversify, I think is the word that you would use, into all sorts of things that just focus the mind so that they link with the spirit within to bring healing forward, to bring communication from your loved ones, and indeed to give to you futuristic events, to keep you motivated, to keep you thinking about what the spirit world is all about. But we do not need all those tools. We just need you to have an open mind, to indeed have an open heart, because your spirit is going to give, and then you are going to receive more and more from those in the spirit world that connect themselves to you, the light that you carry, the light that you are, which cannot be hidden by the persona that you wish to give off to others, or by what clothes you wear to identify, or indeed to unidentify yourself within your circle of friends and family and work colleagues and the like. And so we encourage you all to understand that that spirit within you is going to keep you going forever and ever. It is very difficult to understand that word eternity, but it means no beginning and no end. And so you are the person that you are. You are the person that the spirit is. And so you see there are many that mistrust, others mistrust themselves. And that is why we give to you this idea that you must trust in yourself, in that essence of spirit that you are. Because it is important that you realize that you are spirit, that you are not just a physical body, that when the time comes will return to the earth. And then, you see, there is nothing more. Because there is so much more. That is why it is important that we ask you to take up arms, not in the way of fighting each other, but to be positive, to be wanting to move forward in your life. You may read many books, because there are those that are written that were inspired by people from the spirit world. And they have always something positive to say to you. There is too much doom and gloom in your world, and it is mankind itself that is bringing this to the fore. Because even in the times of war, you know, there is much work done with people giving of themselves and being able to help those that are suffering, because they have been in the range of the missiles, of the guns, of the bombs. And you know, even in war times, there is an element of peace being brought forward all the time, when those go out and help, even those that are struck by famine and their lives are cut short. There are many that go out in their physical being to aid. And you know, everybody wants to give of money, but what we ask is that you give of yourselves also, because sometimes that is more than money can buy. And so your world is indeed commercialized, shall we put it that way, and evolves around, or revolves around, having to have a certain amount of money to exist. And there are those that receive from your state, but shall we say, think it is their right to receive. and then they do not give. And we do not mean just of money. And so it is important when you reach difficult times in your life, because you all will, that you realize that it is about giving and receiving, because some people who may be healers within spiritualism, they always do giving of the healing, but they forget about receiving for themselves, because we can't have all our healers and mediums and people within the Spiritualist Church worn out because they are giving all of the time. In that giving you have to learn about receiving from others and from the spirit world also. And so it is a two-way street, you see. That is why we use that analogy again of driving on your roads. Because you know, even if you do not drive yourself, you are in vehicles, whether they be buses or trains or indeed planes, but you do use these things to take you on a journey within your physical world. And so we want to take you on a journey within the spiritual realms of life, so that you can see and understand all about another dimension of life, where power is equal to all. Not one person, not one nation has power over others, because that is what happens in your world. You all vie for power, you see, and want to control one and all. Even the divine creator that you call God does not want to control by power. They want cooperation by power, yes, to bring the two worlds together. Because really, you know, the world is your oyster to stand up and be counted and talk about your understanding that the spirit will live on. It does not matter how you reach the spirit world, reach it you will, because it is the same for everyone in your world. They will eventually move on into that new dimension of life, new to them, but part and parcel of life as a whole. And so that should help those that grieve the loss of their loved ones, because you know it is but a transition. It is not really a loss. It is not a loss into oblivion. It is just the loss of the physical presence, which indeed sometimes can be very difficult to deal with. But deal with it is part of your earthly life, my friends. And so we want to tell to you that if you can spread the word, that there is no death, that the spirit of the individual will move forward in life, then that should help many. A person that struggles to come to terms with changes in their lives. Change most people do not wish to confront, but indeed life changes. Minute to minute, second to second, day to day, month to month, and year to year. And so you have every opportunity to use your gifts of the Spirit. It does not matter what happened yesterday. Today is a new day. You can start it afresh whenever you like with this new understanding that the Spirit is part of you, the individual. And so we give to you the understanding of the power of God, the power of the Spirit that is within you. And with that power and with those angels walking with you, those guides and helpers, those family and friends, you cannot fail but to achieve. And that is what we want you to understand. Power is yours, my friends. You have to use the power of your spirit wisely. You have to take responsibility for what you do, for how you do it, because it is in your motive that is very important. It's no good helping somebody because you expect something in return. It's good that you wish to help others by being of service to God the Father. That is all that we ask of each one of you. There is a supreme divine being that you call God, that we call the power of the universe, that we call the great white spirit. It does not matter what name you put to this energy. That is the energy of life that is eternal. So use that power that you have wisely. Do not use it to inflict your ways on others, because that is no good. You are just exerting the power of feed your spirit, just as you would feed your body with your favorite food. Feed your spirit with the understanding that God is good, that the Creator is there for you, that those in the spirit world are there for you, to help you, to bring you light, to bring you understanding of truth. It may sound that we are just using words, but it is through words, through thoughts, that we can inspire and uplift. Through music also, because you all sat very quietly and listened and went along with that music that would put you into a meditative state as long as you wanted to enter that meditative state. We do not push you to do anything that is not important to you, because cooperation is the best thing that can happen between your world and ours. And if that law of cooperation, cause and effect, was seen a little more widely in your world, then wars would cease, famine would cease, because you would all be cooperative, one with the other, on a grand scale, grander than you can imagine, and then peace would reign, you see. So all that we ask is that you find for now peace within yourselves, and that will aid us in bringing peace to your world, your material world, because peace reigns in our world of the spirit. It reigns eternal. And that is why we like to come forward and to give you some ideas that may be, in your terms, outside of the box in which you normally think, the range in which you normally think. And so we ask that you do expand your mind, you do expand your heart, and then you will be of service, and your life will be what you may term fulfilled. And so take that power and use it wisely, my friends, and then you will be servants of God, the Father, the Creator of all life. And we say to you, good night, and God bless.